Welcome back to my garden. It's been about 7 weeks since our last tour and I want to show you what's been happening. I was gone for about 4 of those weeks, so some things are looking a little sad, but we'll start where we are and move forward. So these zucchini plants are still producing, but they're getting pretty sad looking. I'll be pulling these out soon and replacing them with something new. In the meantime, they've been producing some rather large zucchini, even bigger than this, and we've been pulling them and feeding them to the ducks and chickens. All this purple cabbage is looking great. Got some green cabbage over here and more purple cabbage, so much. I love it in salad, but I think we're going to have a lot of extra that we'll be able to share with the animals. What I'm really excited about over here though is all these carrots. In my last garden tour, which I filmed on the first of the year, these were just barely germinated. But now they're looking lush and tall and beautiful, and I couldn't be happier about that. Now, right before I left on my trip, I sowed more carrots right here, but very few have come up. I think because with me gone, they weren't watered regularly, and they really need to stay moist during that germination stage. So we won't get very much here, but I'll be planting something else. These zucchini plants, these new ones, are looking great. That makes me really happy. Always like to have some zucchini going. It's one of my favorite vegetables. I'm really happy about this bok choy. This is bok choy that I direct sowed with some seeds I had collected from some of my other bok choy that I let go to seed. I've got cilantro and dill coming up everywhere. I just scattered seeds kind of randomly, and both the dill and the cilantro are plants that grow quickly and then bolt, or they produce flowers and seeds, so you constantly have to replace them. I really don't enjoy eating cilantro, but I have family members and neighbors that do, so I still grow it. It's fun. But look at all this bok choy. When I sowed these over here, they came in rather thick, and I pulled up some of the plants and transplanted them over here. And then they got a little too hot in the sun and wilted. What's really surprising to me is that the transplanted bok choy is looking just as good, possibly better, than the original bok choy. Can you see the difference here? These were direct sown, and you can see the leaves, the outer leaves are looking a little bug-eaten and yellowed. But the ones that I transplanted, wow, they're looking great. I think I lost a few, but otherwise, we need to be eating a lot of bok choy soon. We'll also have plenty to share with the animals and friends and neighbors. Got some really pretty lettuce growing here. Broccoli coming up. Now this bed of sweet potatoes, this was an experiment. Our whole lower garden is covered in sweet potatoes. And whenever we want sweet potatoes, we can go and dig some up. But the problem is, a lot of the sweet potatoes we harvest are real kind of twisted and gnarly looking, maybe a little warty. And I wanted to do an experiment and see if I grew them in this better soil, this better, looser, richer soil up in my garden bed, if I could get some nice, smooth, pretty sweet potatoes. Now they taste great either way, but when you have a sweet potato that's got a really rough edge to it, it's a lot harder to peel or clean or deal with in that way. So I like the ones that are a little more grocery store perfect. Now I'll show you how they turned out, but yeah, this experiment, what I found is I did get smooth sweet potatoes, but it didn't produce as many or as big as sweet potatoes. Here we've got some beautiful lettuce ready to harvest. These zucchini plants are looking sad. I had some volunteer potato plants. I don't know if we'll get any potatoes out of there, but we'll see. I'm really surprised that these onions that were looking so good earlier haven't started bulbing. And I'm beginning to wonder if they're not a bulbing variety. I might have just ordered the wrong thing when I ordered these seedlings, but they're looking pretty good. Now these onions over here, they are beginning to bulb, and that's really encouraging. It's very satisfying to grow our own onions, even though I can purchase onions here in Ecuador very inexpensively. I can get a bag of maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8 onions, decent sized onions for $1. I like having them in the garden because if I were to run out, I can just run out here and get one when I need one. So here we've got some cauliflower coming on. The broccoli, what I have noticed is that when I order my seedlings from Pilvixa and I plant broccoli and cauliflower at the same time, the cauliflower takes a few weeks to a month, maybe 2 to 4 weeks longer to produce than the broccoli. So that's interesting. You can see this romaine lettuce that I've allowed to go to seed. It's just falling over, but it doesn't matter. All I want to do is collect some of the seed from this. What I want to do is just sow a bunch of lettuce seeds in an area of the field that we don't care about and let a whole bunch of it grow that I can pull up and give to the animals. Once I did that, once I had a lot of lettuce that had gone to seed, and I wasn't sure how viable the seeds were. This was several years back. And I pulled up plants that looked just like this, and I just kind of walked along to my compost pile, thumping them against my hand as I was going up there. And the seeds scattered everywhere. And I was amazed how well they grew. I must have had 500 beautiful lettuce plants that grew just from my own seeds. So this will be really great to have. I remember one particular evening when I had all that lettuce that a cow came over to my fence, and I must have pulled up 25 heads of lettuce and fed it to that cow. We were both really happy. So I want to have an abundance of lettuce just to share with the animals. It's quick to grow, easy to grow, great. Now here we've got some cilantro going to seed. I don't need any more cilantro seed. I'll probably just pull that out. These broccoli plants are looking pretty sad. I don't know what happened there. Right before I left on my trip, I planted some bean seeds for green beans, and some of them came up and some of them didn't. So we'll see what we can get from that. I'm super happy about this spinach here. I've already harvested and eaten some of this, and I think it's beautiful. I really enjoy spinach. That's another one that's quick to bolt and go to seed. So I'll have to eat a whole lot more of this here in the near future. We've got more mature zucchini plants ready to pull out. As soon as I have something else I want to put in here, I'll be taking these out and replacing them. And this bed, when I left on my trip about 5 weeks ago, this had a lot of mature cauliflower. While I was gone, it was harvested and new seedlings were put in, but it's looking pretty sad. A lot of the seedlings died, so I don't know. I'll have to find something else I can put in here in the bare spots. But overall, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy. My garden's always in a rotation of new plants and mature plants and in-between plants. And there's always something to rejoice about in the garden. There's always something that's not doing as well as I'd like it to. But overall, I'm pretty excited to be here and have this beautiful space. I've also, since I've gotten back, been harvesting a lot of these beans out in our field. I look forward to canning up for the first time some of my homegrown beans. We've got this bed out here with the bonus cauliflower plants that we got. If you saw my earlier video, we ended up with 300 cauliflower plants when I had ordered 30, and we quickly put together a bed and put them in the ground. They didn't get the same TLC that I normally give my plants that I put in my garden beds, but I think they're going to produce. I also scattered a lot of dill seed out here, and you can see the dill is just taking over this bed, so I've been feeding that to the animals. Even when it's neglected, this garden still produces far more food than we can possibly eat. I love the abundance and eating fresh food right out of my own garden. It brings me so much satisfaction. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.